Hi guys, PJ here with the PC release of Remnant 2. Now, there's a lot of PC releases at the moment, so is this worth the money? Are the options any good? Are the settings any good? Does it run well? Does it stutter like a lot of other games? Well, that's what we're here to answer for an RTX 2060 and a Core i7 CPU with 6 cores, 12 threads, and the game is installed on an NVMe SSD while we're recording onto a M2 SSD along with Windows 10 Pro. Now the game uses the new Unreal Engine, so it does all the fine particle stuff. Whether you think it makes it look better, that's completely up to you. How does it play? Well, on the 2060 with the recommended settings that I'm using, it's hovering around the 40 to 50 FPS. The GPU is maxed out at that though. We are GPU limited. The CPU is having a pretty easy time of it. RAM, we're going 12, 13 gigabytes at a time when we get in certain areas. Speaking of areas, they are randomized, so it's a bit like different dungeons as such. You can load in one day and get a completely different experience to somebody who loads in the same day on a different machine. It depends, what it comes up with at the time. Lots of scenarios and they all look very good. Options, bit basic if I'm completely honest, and unfortunately a lot of developers now seem to be relying on NVIDIA DLSS to solve a lot of problems with PC. So instead of optimizing the game to the high ILTs, they're just letting DLSS do the job for them, which is a shame because DLSS was invented originally to do a boost on the FPS, not to be relied on. But it is what it is. So the settings in front of you are what I'm running the game at. The 2060 runs it very, very well. We don't run out of VRAM or anything like that. The VRAM usage is quite minimal, and it does support the Intel cards and the AMD cards as well with FSR, etc. So you've got support across the board. I've not come across any stuttering whatsoever in the game, and it plays very fluidly. I am using controller, and on that subject I need to point out that it recognised the Xbox Series controller straight away. As soon as I plugged in a DualShock PlayStation 5 controller, it went a bit strange. And to be completely honest, I ended up rebooting the game to see if I could get it to recognise it. It didn't. Now, whether that was my particular system or it doesn't support the DS5, the DualShock controller altogether, who knows, but it is a bit weird. So seeing as I've tried this on two other systems, both with GTX 1660 Ti's, Ryzen 7 and a Ryzen 5 system, and those also had problems with the DualShock controller not showing the prompts and everything, I'm going to go it doesn't work or it doesn't work properly. If you've got a DualShock controller to work on this game, please leave a comment telling me that it does work, on selected systems. The game itself has classes, like you would expect with a sort of shooter, looter type game, looter shooter, whatever you want to call it. And the classes are nicely varied. You've got your typical hunter class, heavy class, sniper class, medic, etc., etc. With lots and lots of customization available. In fact, there's that much customization in the game, it takes you quite a few minutes to finish visiting everybody in your established encampment that you end up getting to before you can even start playing the game. In fact, I was skipping a lot of dialogue to just actually get into gameplay. This is set after the opening sequence of the game, which, to be fair, looked very much like The Last of Us. There was some detailed foliage, destroyed buildings, it's mankind on its knees type scenario. But when you've finally chosen which one you're going to go with, and I personally went for Challenger, which was the heavy, apparently long life, etc. I thought, well, that'd be a good one to go for. It gives you some basic kit to put on. You also get a basic traits perk list to go through, and you can upgrade your character as you go. Being a looter shooter, the game can share the equipment between characters. So if you're in a squad, because obviously you can either match up through the internet and find other players to play with, matchmake, or you can play with your friends, which is quite a nice thing to do. The game has promise. If anything, I'd say it's very slightly difficult. I ran it on the easiest setting. I was using controller like I was saying, and I still find it quite difficult in places. So whether that's just me or the game scaling, I don't really know. It's a great looking game in places, but it's a bit flat in other places. So it's definitely there. You can see the new Unreal Engine doing its stuff, and like I say, it performs, as you can see, very, very well. We've got a lot of particles going on here, and FPS is holding up very, very well. It's using 4 gigabytes of VRAM, and of course, the GPU is maxed out, so you could get it to 60 FPS if you drop your settings down. Just worth a mention, this is running at 1080p, and we're currently going through 13 gigabytes of normal RAM. So if you've got an 8 gigabyte machine, you're going to really struggle with this. I do believe the recommended for this is 16 gigabytes. So if you have a look on Steam and check it out, I've not seen it run 8 even on low. I saw it running about 10 gigabytes. So, you know, it is a next gen engine. It is sort of a next gen game. Even the consoles have got performance mode, they've got quality mode obviously being roughly 30 FPS up or down a couple of FPS on the consoles, but they run it okay. Now they do upscale, so obviously there's that side of it. But for the PC experience, yes, I find it runs very nice, but if you're going to run it on high end, now somebody I've tested this with has a RTX2060 Ti and the corresponding high-end stuff to go with it, and basically there's no way this was going to run 4K, and at 1440p Ultra was also struggling. There's no way it will hold 60 FPS, so just bear that one in mind if you're high-end and you know you've come onto this video just because you're interested in the settings and options. It is a bit of a troublesome one to run sort of maxed out at very high res, but you know, it's an interesting game and it could be a very good game to play in a team. Personally, I'm going to wait for it to go on either PC Game Pass or some equivalent, or maybe a cheap Steam sale. We shall see. Overall though, I'd say 6, 7 out of 10. That's my opinion. Thanks for watching guys. Hopefully this was helpful, and bye for now.